Six-cylinders, some have turbos, some are V8s, some are new, some are old. We're just wheeling them into the grid. A little bit more, a little bit more. This race down towards turn one. Keep an eye out for Jordan Cox. That car suffered from some pretty big rear locking on lap one in race one. This is their last race of the weekend, so you can't leave anything on the table. Let's go racing. Super Saturday Clipsal with the new lot improved production cars. There comes that four-wheel drive Lancer. Out like a cannon. Cox will have to slot back to third. It's dusty, it's cold. Be careful down at the centre chicane. He thought about his move from yesterday there on the outside of turn two again.
He had a look at it there, but again, great to see these guys get through that first chicane nice and clean, get on with the race.
Oh, the outside, that curb can catch you out. Tries to swing around the outside of that little 8.6 Sprinter, hounding the back of that Toyota. BMW looks to the inside at turn 5. Haven't seen Ben Schutz in that RX-7 have much luck here this weekend. He's been floating around the top 5. Cox wants to get on with it in the red Honda Civic. For the first time we get as Miles Bond goes sideways off the curb. This big run down the back part of the circuit. Turn 8, so fast, especially in these cars.
We saw the advantage of that four-wheel drive car yesterday off the start, get into the lead. Did it again here, but very quickly Chris Brown wants to get on with this and get away from Jordan Cox. We saw in the closing stages of yesterday's race there was a bit of touch and a bit of biff between these two, a bit of friendly banter. Nothing sort of too much, but I don't think Chris Brown wants to give him that opportunity again today.
Looking for a clean sweep of the wins here. A 3SG power Toyota goes to the point. That was Maitland wasn't getting a little bit sideways in the background there.
These turbocharged cars are going to be loving this weather this morning. Nice, cool conditions, perfect for turbo engine cars.
Oh.
Jordan Cox down the inside. Nice move.
Schutz wants to go with him. P3 up for grabs there. We go high above in the South Australia fly cam. Love that. Down the old Barry Sheen straight. And Schutz does get the job done. Through he goes.
Watch for Miles Bond in this race. He had the pace in race one. He was actually leading when he actually had those turbo dramas. So he really wants to get back to the front of this field. That's where he belongs, up the front. He knows he's got the speed to be able to match these guys. So look for him to make some moves and get up to these front two guys.
Jordan Cox very aggressive down at turn 14. The Adelaide hairpin just scything up the inside of the big Lancer. Here comes the leaders. Oh, Cox has really managed to pull a bit of that gap out from Chris Brown and trying to close in, just 9/10 fastest through the first sector here as he tries to wheel him in. Now Bond to the inside at turn 8. Tough spot to make a move stick, looking into the sunlight. Gets it done. Oh, Schutz was sideways in the RX-7.
Still some of those rear locking issues that he was having in yesterday's race coming down there into turn 9. If you don't have confidence in braking around here, it's really not a lot of fun because it's quite bumpy, especially on the run up to turn 4. If there's a bit of an imbalance front to rear, especially if you start locking rears going up into turn 4, you can very quickly find yourself turned around backwards. And we've seen that over the course of the weekend in some of the other categories already. People getting out of shape under brakes up there and arriving backwards.
There's not a lot of room for error down there at turn 4. If you're lucky enough to get the escape road, you might avoid digging into the fence. Been a clean race so far, the final one to date. Miles Bond really wants to be part of this lead battle. He's got Ben Schutz to get around first. Oh, Schutz really sideways in the RX-7. Good save. Good save.
Surprisingly, it didn't actually cost him that much speed.
It's enough to make Warren Luff wince and go a little bit tense there for a second. Here comes the big XY. Power down. BMW losing some spots there in a straight line. We saw this car back.
Yeah, we saw the big XY have a bit of a moment through here the other day and made a light contact with the wall, so great to see these guys back out there.
Oh man, talk us through this, Warren.
I think he's been watching Jordan Cox from the other day. Just got in there a little bit hot. You can see right from the moment of turn-in, he's lost the rear of the car. Maybe tyres still not quite up to temperature. Did a great job of holding onto it. Most importantly, get that lock off and try and straighten it up. Be careful getting back on the power. You watch him being thrown around inside the car. It always looks nice and gentle here at in slow motion, but at full speed, he was definitely hanging on in there.
Good fight for third, this one. Bond lifting the left front of the Datsun up. That's cool.
Trying to look for a run through here. hopefully try and get a run down the inside of turn 14. It's all about trying to carry the speed through 13 and then flick back to the inside, straighten it up. Not quite. Turn 14 is such a low grip surface there. It's got to be a calculated move. Gets the run onto the straight, but the RX-7's not lacking in straight line speed either. Goes a little bit defensive, sends him the long way down the right-hand side.
Good racing. That's clean at this time for Shoots. Bond gives him a little bit more room through the centre chicane. 2013 state champion in improved production, Miles Bond, with the 1992 livery on the little Datsun. Oh, sideways out of 4. We're climbing stairs, which is 4, 5 and 6.
Again, this is where the smaller car comes into its own. It's a little bit more nimble up through these tighter sort of areas. You can see right up on the back of him now. Swings out wide, trying to get the slingshot onto the back straight.
It's got a really good exit. Draws level. Tough spot to make it stick. Might have to pull out of it. Turn 8 he does.
Now it's all about trying to get the run through here. Oh. Probably not quite close enough.
Maitland hounding the back of Sarandis. And also Robinson coming along.
I'm just wondering if Miles Bond has still maybe got a couple of turbo issues left over.
Cameron, it's a good morning to you down in the pits. I know you're loving the action here because you get to actually get out and drive these cars occasionally.
Certainly do. That's why I'm cheering on the RX-7 of Benny Shoots, a guy that does very well in the Victorian Championship. In the meantime, though, Wade Reynolds back in pit lane, locked on brakes and also on misfire in that engine.
Goodness. It's got the full works going on down there. Comes Nathan Robinson trying to catch up to the pack here. 2016 Victorian champion. So likes fast circuits like Phillip Island. The BMWs are really starting to rise up and improve production. Haven't seen too much of Nathan Robinson this weekend. This is a really good fight.
Chris Brown just posted the fastest lap of the race, 31.73. So,
oh dear. Oh. Now that Eldridge car has definitely gone in front end here. Tirana looks a little bit bent. Although, to be honest, oh, careful, not yet, not yet. It's sitting awkwardly now. Oh.
It's painful, but you just have to sit there and wait because it's, with all the cars coming, you don't want to sort of make a move at the last minute.
That is an awkward spot to be indeed. Now, turn 9, here we go in the shade. The sun's still very much climbing up into the Adelaide sky. Sarandis holding on from Maitland and Robinson over the halfway marker here. Let's hope that Tirana's got moving from turn 1. Here we go. Whoa-wee. Oh. It's wiped its nose down the inside of that wall.
One of the big things that can happen here is when you have to jump the curb like that, if you get too hard on the throttle, you can actually see him breaking traction across the painted surface there. It's really easy to then lose the rear of the car, which is exactly what's happened here. Turns hard right. Thankfully, though, the damage is quite minimal. He needs to count his lucky stars. Go buy a lotto ticket.
Oh, could have done with a bit more of the tyre wall there for him. Unfortunately, he got the concrete. Look at the glass shattering. Wow, that's an amazing slow-mo. Tirana stood up to it pretty good. Oh dear, that is big. Front end of Robinson's car has taken a big hit on the inside wall. So the exit of turn 14, maybe that car has come across. Local yellows being waved there. Had a big ute crash there a couple of years ago from memory. Oh, wow. Oh. So Maitland was sideways and he got on the loud pedal trying to avoid him and came in and bit that inside wall really hard for the 2016 Victorian champion. That's a sad way to see his weekend wrap up here.
That's a huge amount of damage. As you said, he's just tried to sort of pull it in a little bit tight, trying to give the guy on the outside a bit more room, but it's still trying to get too hard on the throttle. And like we spoke about before, it's such a low grip surface around here, and especially at that corner. And it's just caught him out on the exit. So not a great way to end the weekend.
Just to give you an idea of exactly where on the track that was. Our yellow flag map. Still a localized yellow here. The car is a long way over. It has scattered some parts across the track. off the rebound of that fence. Unfortunately, we've not seen the fight for the lead that we've seen in the last couple of races. Courtesy of Chris Brown turning 1 minute 31s, really legging it to try and get away from Jordan Cox.
Miles Bond has actually fallen away from this leading group of cars, so I'm not sure if he might have some engine dramas like the other day, because his lap times are certainly not what they were at the start of the race either.
Saw a 1 minute 31.4 from Brown yesterday. 1:31.7 in this race, although that last lap, Cox was 9/10 quicker and is reeling him in. Here he is. Can thankfully say that Nathan Robinson's given the thumbs up inside that BMW at the exit of turn 14, so he's all right. Nasty hit with the concrete, but he is okay, which is good news. Through turn 8, fast, the back end of that little Honda, swerving around.
You see the straight line speed advantage of the little Toyota 86. Like the Civic was right up on him coming onto the back straight there, and end of the straight, he's like 10 car lengths behind.
Talking about 3.4 litres versus 2 litres, the Toyota versus the Honda. This is the fight further back for 5th. Maitland and Sarandis, unfortunately, with Nathan Robinson no longer a part of this fight. Nissan versus Mitsubishi. Rear-wheel drive versus four-wheel drive. Gotta love the variation you get in improved production. Have a look at the gap here, as Cox surely has a problem. Pulls over to the left, this little bulletproof Civic showing for the first time some chink in the armour. And what a shame, because he's been best on ground all weekend in terms of just sheer driving skill. Might be able to hang on since it's the last lap for a good result, but what a shame. It was building as a good battle between himself and Chris Brown. Miles Bond now with a chance to finish second. It's a fight between himself and Benny Schutz. Schutz has driven the 12-hour a couple of times in the Invitational class, so he knows how to go the distance.
Miles Bond is back into the 31, so whatever caused him to sort of fall off the back of these guys earlier in the race, he's certainly back with a vengeance and looking to get one more spot.
Oh, here we go. The drag race towards turn 8 this time. Oh, there's yellow flags there. Oh, he might have to pull out of this one. They're both trying to be kind to each other. Now, there was a yellow waving around that part of the track. That's one for the officials to look at. Hopefully it's okay for that move. Oh, listen to those rears chattering and locking up. Last couple of corners for our lead pack. It's Chris Brown, driving more like Will Brown out there at the moment, showing some good speed. Here he comes. The treble for the Toyota. Old school Toyota 86 Sprinter, Celica motor, the little 3 SGE, powerful, putting out 3.4 litres, which is why he can slide the rear end around. The Newline sponsorship, he'll go 3 from 3 in the Newline improved production from Miles Bond. The small question mark there ahead of Ben Schutz, and Jordan Cox desperately trying to hang on here. I wonder if this is a gearbox issue for Jordan, who unfortunately gets pipped all the way back down to 5th on the stripe. That's a real shame, because he was really entertaining all weekend long. Chris Brown have to be happy with the effort here this weekend in front of the home fans.
Great bit of driving all weekend, and like we spoke about before, the dice between those two guys, whilst we didn't quite see it there today, these guys have put on some great racing all weekend, and most importantly, to get through safety car free.
So Chris Brown, 1.9 seconds, good point. Yeah, we didn't get a safety car all weekend. 1.9 seconds up on Miles Bond from Ben Schutz. Sarandis was inside the top 5 all weekend long. Entertaining racing. Congratulations to Chris Brown, winner in improved production cars. Over the page, Michael Nagib, just enjoying some track time after the amount of work they had to do on that car. Graham Cox didn't see too much of Jordan's father in that race, a bit further back. A couple of bent and bruised cars, but to be honest, it is a street circuit, and not a lot of them have had a chance to race here in the past. 3 races for improved production thanks to Newline here this weekend. Chris Brown was off the pole for the last of those races. A good fight between himself and that Mitsubishi Lancer down towards turn 1, but four-wheel drive power really paying off. He was wasting no time in getting to the front, though. Yeah, we saw in the other 2 races, he really wanted to get to the front of the field and try and pull away, because Jordan Cox, he's been the giant killer all weekend. Obviously didn't quite sort of pay off for him today, but the dice that these guys have had all weekend has been quite exciting. Not quite as exciting as this moment here. Lucky to be able to hang on to that through there. Great driving from Ben Schutz. Now, major moment here Unfortunately, Nathan Robertson having a nasty head-on with the fence, and that wall has had improvements since that youth crash we were talking about earlier a couple of years ago. Thankfully, everyone down there is A-OK. The Tirana with a bit of a moment on the loud pedal a bit early. The now Global Logistics Eldridge Tirana swiping the fence and doing some damage to the front end of that car. Glass and gravel shooting all over the track. Thankfully, it was only a one-car accident in the end, despite where that car ended up. Jordan Cox, sad to see his weekend end like this, pulling up slow on the finish line and losing a few spots. Tight moment, that one between Miles Bond, second across the line behind Chris Brown. And this little Toyota Sprinter has been wowing the Clipsal fans here this weekend, winning 3 from 3 in the Newlon Improved Production cars. Thank you very much.